this is investigation 4. This is on measuring angles. Now we've talked about the different types of angles that we've learned already. We know about acute angles, we know about right angles, obtuse angles, and straight angles. We've talked about all 4 in comparison usually to all right angles. Now you did know from 4th grade and of course from this year that a right angle is exactly 90 degrees. And that's how we measure angles, is with degrees. That's our unit of measurement. So this is what we call a protractor. Now all of you should have this year at school as part of your supplies, but this is your protractor that measures degrees of an angle. We're going to learn how to be using these. So acute angles are always smaller than a right angle. So if I'm facing this direction and I have a horizontal line, set that down, horizontal line, an acute angle can be just about right here. And then of course if I have a right angle, I can do horizontal line and it would go straight up. This would be a right angle. Then an obtuse angle would be anything farther back. And then a straight angle would be straight like this. Now that would be 180 degrees. Now to complete almost a full circle, I'd have 180 degrees going straight horizontally, and if I were to go so starting here, going all the way back around, making a full circle with my arm, that would be 360 degrees. So those of you that maybe know snowboarding or skateboarding and you hear of a 360, that's a complete turnaround. So it's starting at one point, going all the way around and starting back right where you started. Okay, so back to measuring angles. Now all of these are acute angles. This one is measured about 30 degrees. This is about 45 degrees. This is about 60 degrees. They're all acute angles, so anything below 90 degrees. Of course, a right angle has to be exactly 90 degrees. It can't be 90.5, it can't be 89.5. It has to be exactly 90 degrees to be a right angle. And then anything above 90 degrees is called an obtuse angle. So it's 100. You can have a 120 degree angle, you can have a 150 degree angle, and you can have pretty much anything between 180 degrees and 90 degrees. Then of course our straight angle, which I forgot to label, is exactly 180 degrees. And the reason why it's still an angle, it's where 2 segments come and meet together. So that's why we have our dot in the middle. So if I have 2 segments that join together to form a segment, or something that looks like one segment, that's called a straight angle. All right, so now protractor, which I already mentioned to you, is a tool that we use to measure angles. Now these are very important. As you can see, you have many numbers all the way around your circle. You have everything between 180 and 0, and you have each number twice. Now I have 0 degrees on this side right here at the top row, and I have 0 degrees on this side on the bottom row. So depending on where you start and where you measure your horizontal line from, or your angle, if I'm going to have it match up with my 0 degrees on this side, then I'm going to read the top row to where my next segment meets. I'll read my top row. However, if I start, I'll move this, that way you can see it. If I start right here at my 0 degrees, where my line matches up, then I'm going to read this bottom row to meet my other line. Now, this center part, which all of you should have a circle of some sort on your protractor, because many protractors look slightly differently or used differently. The center part is where your vertex meets. So where the vertex, or where the corner is of the angle, that's where it needs to be, is in the center. Otherwise, it will measure incorrectly. So I'm going to kind of show you how to do this, and we'll of course practice more in class and get some hands-on activity. But if you have these problems right here, which are all in your investigation 4, is to draw an angle that meets these measurements using your protractor. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do it, and you're not going to be able to see the numbers, but I'm going to kind of show you how I do it on the board. So for a 30-degree angle, first I'm going to just start drawing a horizontal line. So I have my horizontal line and I'm going to have, or my segment, and I'm going to draw another segment that creates a 30-degree angle. So my vertex I'm going to put right here. So that means the circle of my protractor needs to be on the end so that it meets 0 degrees right here and it's on my bottom row. So that means I'm looking at my bottom row. I find my 30 right here. And I drew a little line because now I need to connect it. So I have this tiny line that I marked as where my 30-degree angle is to my corner. And it would go right there. So this right here is a 30-degree angle. Now what kind of measurement or what kind of angle do we call that? We do call it an acute angle. It is very tiny. So that's how I know I'm correct. If I were to find my 30 that was on the top row, which would be right here, if I were to find my 30 on the top row and have my starting point here, it would create an obtuse angle, and I know that would be incorrect because with 30 degrees, it's under 90, so it's going to be acute. Now, 90-degree angle. This one should be simple because I know that's going to be a right angle. But I want to draw it so it's exactly 90 degrees. So I have my horizontal line, and I'll start it from my other side. So that way my vertex is going to start right here. And 90 degrees is actually 90 straight across because there's only one place where you can put a 90-degree angle. All right, so that's where my 90-degree angle is. I'm just going to erase that part, and that is my square corner. 90 degrees. Now 110. I'm going to draw my horizontal line. Now if my segment is going to start right here in the corner, this is where I'm going to put the center of my protractor. I'm going to find my zero point is where I'm starting, and that's on my bottom row. So then I'm going to find my 110 on the bottom row, which is past the 90-degree point right here. And then I'm just going to connect it. I want you to go ahead and try number 8, the 70-degree one, on your own right now. So there's my 110. It's not that much larger than a 90-degree angle, as you can tell, but it is still an obtuse angle. So go ahead and try the 70 degrees on your own, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. Draw my horizontal line. I have my 0 is going to be on the top on this side because that's where I'm starting from. So I'm going to look at the 0 or the 70, excuse me, at the top. And 70 degrees is under 90 degrees, which is an acute angle, and that's exactly what I drew. All right. We'll go over and do an activity together as far as measuring angles and also reviewing the types of angles that we have. Thank you so much for paying attention.